Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Internet Writing Buddies podcast. Unfortunately, Ben is making faces at me right now on our video, so it's confusing me as to whether or not this is actually going, but I'm pretty sure we're doing okay. It is yours truly, Grace, aka the Graceful Renegade, and with me, of course, is my favorite human being, the Ben, aka the Dork in the Road. Hi, Ben.
I'm not your favorite human being, but I
You're one of my
appreciate
favorite. Okay,
that.
correction.
Yeah.
You're one of my favorite human beings. How's that?
For the record, Grace is one of those people that everyone is her best friend. She has about 32.
That's not true.
So,
There's like five.
like somebody, if you brought her a roll of toilet paper one time, you're her best friend.
No, you're one of five, Ben. Stop.
Oh, five. Damn.
I know. You are in the top tier. It's pretty special. You should feel
So
honored.
you're saying if this was MySpace, I'd be in your top 8 friends.
Oh yeah, you would.
Oh.
100%.
Oh, sorry. That was a social media platform that preceded Facebook.
God, I miss MySpace. It was so much better back then. Life was easier.
You could play music. You could make your page look any way you wanted.
Yeah.
You could put cool things on. It was way more open source.
Yeah, and there was way less advertising. Oh my God. I hopped on, just a quick tangent, everybody. I hopped on my Instagram after being off it for, a little over 3 weeks for my 500 hours project. And I popped back on, and the overwhelming amount of ads and just like everything like hit so hard so fast. I was just like, oh, good. So if I'm not buying something or feeling shitty about myself, then I don't need to be on here. Great. It's great. So great.
It's so creepy. Like,
yeah.
I got a new for your action camera, you hold it, it turns into like a 2.5 foot tripod, and it's also a selfie stick. Insta sent it to me, and like the first time I ever used it, I had it on that trip when we went dirt biking on Sunday. Yeah, and as I'm like just messing around in the car, or we're sitting there eating. Actually, I think I was like pulling up. I was just scrolling Facebook, and there was an ad for that tripod. I never mentioned to you that I had that tripod.
Nope.
I made this confirmation bias because I had it in front of me, but like I swear I'd never seen it before.
I think that's the scary thing. Same thing happened. I'll never forget this. When I started doing cold plunging last year, like I had a lot of people just like not even message me on Instagram, but either have a conversation with me outside of phones about it or text me about it. And then like the amount of ads that they were then getting about cold plunges, and like it was just crazy. Your phones are listening, everyone. That's what we're trying to tell you. So just be aware.
Well, and it knows what your friends are doing and liking and looking at too, and so it'll suggest, like, it's all connected. Anyway, what are we talking about today before we go down this freaking rabbit hole?
Sorry for the tangent, y'all. Yes, this week I'm actually kind of excited because this is a debate that Ben and I've had many times, kind of like separately with our kind of channels and stuff, and just with writing blogs. But we're talking about hard luggage versus soft luggage today, and it is definitely something that I think divides the ADV community because there are diehards on either side. Now, unfortunately for you all, I think Ben and I both kind of lean the same direction. However, even though I'm a huge advocate for soft luggage, I do think there are some very substantial positives about hard luggage. So we're going to deep dive into that a little bit today. But Ben, have you ever had hard luggage on your bikes ever?
Yeah, my KLR had factory hard cases, and I had that Moto Morini that I took out camping. It had hard cases. Doug Fan has hard cases on his Africa Twin. So, I haven't run them. I had them on my Versas. I started moto camping with hard cases, actually.
Yeah.
Back in the day. So I don't have a ton of experience with them off-road, but there's a reason for that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, my first luggage was hard cases that came with my F700, my GS, when I got it. Thank you, Shaheen. But after that, I went soft luggage, and I never really went back. And we'll of course get into that here shortly. But yeah, I think that's kind of how everybody starts out, and then I think as they get more into off-roading, it kind of graduates from there. So I guess just to get things started, maybe we'll talk about the kind of benefits of just luggage in general. Obviously, like with hard and soft luggage, I think one of the big things everyone should keep in mind is that both are repairable. I do think that it is easier to repair soft luggage than hard luggage. Sometimes if you really dent one of those boxes, it's going to take a hammer to get one of those things back into place. And I definitely had to do that in Vietnam. When Alex and I were traveling there, he went down on the Pan Am in some really gnarly rain. And one of the boxes on the side of the Pan Am dented in so badly it wouldn't close. So we had to stop at a random construction site and, get the Google Translate out and ask if we could borrow a hammer because we needed to hammer it back into place. It was kind of a nightmare, but in all the times that I went down in Asia with my soft luggage, never had an issue. Nothing ever ripped. And yeah, obviously it's a great place to have storage, whether you are just camping or in my case, camping and bringing a lot of filming gear. There's also, I think one of the big elements that I always like is just the ability to waterproof everything. Giant Loop does a great job with this. Moscow does a great job with this. With soft luggage, they really provide those kind of like waterproof pods that really help, and they kind of easily slide into luggage. It's actually how I organize a lot of my luggage too, is by having different things in the different colored pods. But a lot of the hard luggage is waterproof as well, and you can get those bags even if you are having a little bit of a leak in there. But yeah, those are kind of, I think, some of the benefits. Ben, do you have anything to add?
Well, I mean, I guess we'll talk more about repairability, but I just want to
Yeah.
make the point that, like, because yes, you can pound a hard case back into shape, but it's kind of like aluminum foil. Once it's crumpled
Yeah.
up, it's never going to be perfect again. Like, you're
Yeah.
always going to be fighting it a little. It's one of those, it'll get you home, but do you want to keep it? I don't know. Versus throwing a patch on a piece of soft luggage. Although the flip side of that is straps are, you have to like get out an industrial sewing machine to sew new straps on. So like that's not easy either. It's give and take, but you can replace a strap pretty easily with a pronghorn or something that you have,
Yeah.
especially in the field, just to get you there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think one of the other things too that is a benefit of having any type of luggage is that they are essentially like a secondary set of crash bars on your bike. And I got this firsthand when I wrecked a couple years ago when I was in the Alvord. I had the round the world panniers on either side of my CB. Now, granted, I completely destroyed the pannier on the left side, like it completely ripped off. I also was crashed on gravel going 65. But, that extra pannier helped me not get my foot peg through my calf, as well as my Tech 7 boots that I had on. But if I didn't have that pannier on there, it probably would have done a lot more damage to my leg. So they do really come in handy in those certain circumstances.
Yeah, and it's a big advantage in a slow speed crash too, because your bike doesn't fall all the way over,
Yeah.
and that's both hard and soft. Now, if I'm going to
Yeah.
get my foot under it in that slow speed, I want it to be soft luggage.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, it gives you additional grab points, and some bags are even like all bags give you that, but some are designed like the Giant Loop, like the Coyote has a grab handle on the side,
Yeah.
specifically designed for you to use it to move your bike around or pick it up if you go down.
Yep.
So that's another advantage to having that stuff on your bike.
Yeah, absolutely.
What are the
Yeah.
disadvantages to having luggage on your bike, Grace?
Well,
That's not
one
on your
of
notes. Oh,
no, but this is actually something that I find kind of funny because a lot of people don't like the extra weight on the bike because obviously it does impact your riding, especially if you're not used to it. I especially had this when I was doing my 14 months because I was living off my CB, and the CB isn't a huge bike already,
no,
it's
no, it
pretty
isn't.
small. And so learning how to ride with essentially my entire life on the back of the bike was very difficult, and I had to completely relearn how to stop. I got used to basically never using my front brake because there's no reason to use your front brake when all the weight's in the back. Yeah. Just little things like that where you just have to make adjustments and also be conscientious about it. I also became very topsy-turvy in parking lots because when you have that much weight on the bike and you're doing anything slow, whether it's parking or pulling out, whatever else, it's a nightmare. The amount of times that I accidentally fell over trying to get the kickstand down or even just get a leg down was a lot. But again, it's like having that second set of crash bars, really easy to just pick the bike back up and it's fine. But that can be a bit of a hassle. I also then had to make the adjustment of riding without the bike being weighed down, which was super bizarre. Started to feel like I was riding dirt bikes all the time. On top of that, though, It's hard to get used to. Like, if you're not used to having weird weight in weird places, like, you really kind of have to learn how to move the bike around differently, and that can be a bit of a challenge.
Yeah, bikes are not, broadly speaking, and I know there's a million examples of this that aren't true, not really designed to carry a bunch of extra weight on the back of the bike.
No.
Like, with the exception of, and for the record, I don't even work for Giant Loop anymore, but I just know a lot about it. So there's going to be a lot of examples there. But like a bag like the Coyote or whatever the Moscow or the 40 Rackless 40,
Yeah.
that's designed to sit where the passenger sits. That's at least like the bike is designed to have some weight there. But in
Yeah.
general, motorcycles don't handle well with a lot of weight on the back. It's bad for everything. Like you have bad traction on the front wheel. It screws up your front braking, like you said. It makes it hard to do maneuvering around in
And,
parking lots. And where you put the weight is super important, right? And can
yeah.
make a huge difference.
Yes, absolutely. It also, another example of grace being grace, when I was in Big Sur and I was doing the little like old highway up above Big Sur, which was so fun. If you're ever in that area, definitely take that little off-road road. It's beautiful. But
Are you talking about me? I'm the Big Sur.
you are the Big Sur.
Oh,
That
yeah,
is correct. I'm talking about Big Sur, California, though. In
like
this
that,
regard.
like ocean. Like,
Yes, like ocean.
big
Beautiful blue ocean, beautiful road. I think it's still closed from mudslides and earthquakes, unfortunately, but it should be open maybe later this year. But I hit a rut trying to adjust my GoPro. Bad decision.
God,
And because I
that's
had
gonna
so much
happen.
weight on the back of my bike that I'm not used to, it kind of shifted around and me and the bike went down, and that became a whole ordeal because I was out of reception, was very low on water, and needed to get the bike back up and ride another 7 miles. So just a lot of things you need to be aware of when you have extra weight on your motorcycle. Yay.
Yeah, once it starts to tip, it's a
Yeah.
whole different animal.
Yep.
It really is, and your suspension doesn't work as well, and
No.
just little. It's hard to get on. That's one thing that you kind of touched on, but like, I basically have to stand on the pegs anytime I have luggage on the back. I'm not tall enough to get my leg up, over, and around, and I'm not flexible enough to do the kick over the seat thing.
Yeah.
So I have to just pop up and over.
Yeah. Yeah. It makes it easier. That's for sure.
Or
But
I'm
yeah,
sometimes flexible enough to do the kick thing, which means half the time it works, and the other half the time my calf gets caught on the seat and I fall over.
it happens to the best of us.
Yeah, or I've ruined seats that way. Not ruined, but gotten them very dirty because my boot just didn't land exactly where I thought it was going to. It's not great.
It just looks like you fell off your bike, which happens occasionally.
It does happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Not on Sunday, though. I had the worst near crash, but nobody else did anything. So
Yeah, I had a couple. We got out and rode some dirt on Sunday, y'all, and we had a really fun day. It was beautiful here. It had been raining for 2 days. We had just the best dirt imaginable, and the sun was shining. But it was a great time. We did you probably did more than me because you guys did a loop before we got there. But yeah, it was great. 30, 35 miles. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't have enough. I overestimated my ground clearance going through a rocky section and hit a rock with my foot peg, and the bike stopped and I kept going. But I didn't fall. I caught it. Anyway, that is a digression.
Yes. So after our digression there, let's talk about the benefits of hard luggage to start. So I think one of the biggest ones is the security aspect of it, because it is just a lot easier, particularly when you're traveling, to close the box, lock it, and then go in and eat a meal. It's so much easier than worrying about soft luggage. Now, I do know that obviously, like, I traveled with soft luggage, so there are ways to secure it. However, also, by the way, Ben has a video about how to secure soft luggage to your bike on his channel. You should check it out.
It's on the Giant Loop channel, but yes.
Yeah, Giant Loop channel has it, but Ben is hosting the video.
I made it, but
anyway, but yes, it is more secure. You can definitely count on your things being more secure with hard luggage than soft. I think you'd probably agree with me, right, Ben?
Yeah, I mean, we can talk about that when we get to the soft luggage part, because obviously, yes, but in practice, I don't know. I mean, when bike thieves strike, they take the whole damn thing. So the stuff that, I guess my point is, the things that we worry about are not probably the most likely thing to happen. But
Yes.
yeah, if I was commuting, like if I had to like ride to work and keep my laptop in a case, it sure as hell wouldn't be a soft case. Like it would
No.
have to be a hard case. Like so, yes,
Yeah.
I completely agree with that.
Yes. And I definitely struggled with that because I had soft luggage. Now, granted, I wasn't always super crazy about making sure everything was hyper secure on my bike, but that's also because I was traveling in what I felt were very safe areas. And all of my expensive equipment, as much as it was a pain in the ass, I brought it inside everywhere with me. I brought everything that like was a diehard thing inside with me, whether it was going to the gym, going to get food, going to Starbucks, etc. So that's just kind of a habit I got into, because then that way, if everything else got taken off my bike, I had all my filming gear and all my necessities with me. Not everybody is that way, but that was kind of how I did things. So anyway, but
Is
yeah,
that Annabelle?
Tam's in. She wants to go
Oh,
out. Everybody, I have a 3-year-old golden retriever. I love her to death, but she would like to go outside, so I'm going to quickly open this sliding door and let her
keep
outdoors.
your face on screen. So what were we talking about? Our spirit. Oh, I've
Oh,
kind of given
oh,
up on being.
oh,
I've kind of given up on being that paranoid. Even though I
yeah,
am that paranoid of a person, and I've definitely had my stuff stolen before, but it's
right.
like on a long trip, it's just like I just
Yeah,
need to sit down and drink some water. I
yes.
throw my like I'm an out of sight guy. Like I just have to make it harder to steal from me than the guy next to me. That's about as
Yep.
far as I'll go. Now, that's not to say I don't grab my GPS and my phone, but like I leave my
Yep.
helmet, my cameras, and stuff on the bike now. I just throw my jacket
Yeah.
over it.
I think that to a certain degree too, as long as you kind of know where you are and you kind of have an idea about traffic and whatever else, like as long as you're not in Portland, like you're fine, you're pretty okay, you know. Also, sorry for the background noise.
They heard your dog. I just want to put that out. It's your fault.
I know, I'm sorry. I can't help the fact that my basset hound really, really is excited to be outside and sunbathe all afternoon. She's all about it.
That's very exciting. Very
I
exciting.
know. Anyway, all right. One of the benefits of hard luggage, other than security, though, kind of similar to what we're talking about right now, is the fact that it's super easy to take on and off the bike. It is very, very simple to just very quickly click, pull the box off, and you bring that into your hotel room at the end of the day. So much easier than dealing with soft luggage. Most of the time, soft luggage is strapped onto the bike. Takes a little time to get off of the motorcycle, which not a lot of time, but enough time usually that it is a little more exhaustive than hard luggage.
There are some exceptions to that, but in general, yes. And even when I run my round the world panniers with quick release, I still run the strap up underneath the bar just for stability. So it still takes me a little longer. You know what you
Yeah.
don't have on your list of advantages of hard luggage? You don't have to take camp furniture with you when you camp because you can sit on the box and use the other one as a table.
Ooh,
I
that's a good point.
get so
Yeah.
jealous of my hard pannier using friends because I can't do that.
Yeah. That is one less thing then that you have to pack too. I totally didn't even think about that. I think just because a lot of the time when I have been ADV riding, I haven't had hard luggage, so I haven't got to use that to my advantage. But that's a brilliant point. I'm gonna remember that one.
I think it's more that's more of a ride to camp thing and less of a camp to ride thing. But
Yeah,
I
that's true.
guess if you're using hard luggage on a camp to ride trip, it's already there. It's not like you can't use it for that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't need a camp chair.
Yeah, I don't know. I like having a backrest though. You know, I guess you could use the bike if you needed to, but another thing about hard luggage that I do envy with the soft luggage is it's so easy to open and close. Like versus having to like kind of unroll a bag or get through like 3 different like little packs in your soft luggage. You can just pop that thing open, grab what you need, close it, lock it, done. Usually with soft luggage, it's a little bit more of an ordeal.
That's a double-edged sword though, because
Yeah.
you have to pack everything inside your hard luggage very carefully because it'll move around, right? Versus soft luggage, you just compress down, but it takes that whole process of rolling everything down and pulling the straps and stuff. So
Yeah.
it's a lot more variable in size, and we've learned this the hard way because we had one extra beer one time, and Sean was like, "I'll just take it home," and threw it in his hard his Africa Twin, and And then we didn't think about it. We're like, oh, let's take some dirt. Like, we're coming home from Bend. So from Bend to Cicely, we took that back road, the Bar S, the BS logging road, whatever it is. And, there's a lot of whoops and stuff. And anyway, he got home and there was just Coors Light all over everything inside his pannier because it was bouncing around in there, right?
Yeah.
Which is like, oops. But,
yes.
Yeah.
Which
so
is
disadvantage there.
A huge disadvantage. Yeah, it's kind of like the irony with the hard luggage. One of the benefits on top of that is that the luggage doesn't actually really move around on the bike, obviously, because it's like stuck to the bike. Yeah. But if you don't pack well, you can really get screwed really fast, which is beer or anything exploding everywhere,
And you have to pack it full. Like, you have to. Yeah. Because otherwise it'll move around. And the tendency there is when you have space to fill it. Especially if you feel like you need to do that to keep stuff from moving around. So you're probably prone to taking more stuff versus soft luggage that you can cinch down to fit what you put inside of it.
Yeah, which is a great time to transition into why we love soft luggage. And that is one of the big things for me, at least, which is the ability to really be able to pack well, because you can compress everything. You can also overpack well, because a lot of the times, with the soft luggage, even if you are technically overpacking, it's a lot easier to maintain and manage than it would be with hard luggage. Like, you can obviously strap anything onto both sets, but being able to overpack in soft luggage or underpack, like just throw a couple of things in there and cushion them, it's a piece of cake. It's so much easier than hard luggage with that. But yeah,
it's a good point about and what she means by like overpack and stretch is like a lot of hard luggage or soft luggage. You have to do 3 rolls on top to make it waterproof, right? So it's able to do that. But if you just do 1 roll, you just gain 4 inches of height. It's just not going to be waterproof. But, we don't usually ride in the rain on purpose. So in general, that's something you get away with if you have like a tall camp chair or something. Or you're just like stopped for food. You need to put it on top of the bag and get it to camp. Something you're not going to be taking with you. So it's nice to have that flexibility.
Yes. And also, as somebody who carries a lot of camera equipment, and Ben does as well, it's basically like a dampener too, because with hard luggage, things can bounce around and get crazy in there. But if you're in soft luggage, you can actually kind of like keep everything relative, not like so stable that it's going to shake with the bike, but stable enough that it's not getting knocked around everywhere in basically a giant open container, which when you're carrying a lot of camera equipment and camera gear, that is something you need to be conscientious about, because it'll ruin the lens of your camera.
That's why I don't have a fancy camera, because I'd ruin the lens of the camera. So
yeah. Yes. Another benefit, soft luggage is lighter.
Significantly.
Which, so nice. I actually do have a lot of very fond memories of laughing while being on the road. I would have occasionally ride with friends who had hard luggage, and they would be struggling to get their bags kind of like off the bike into a hotel room or into camp. Whereas I would just, pop the straps with my soft luggage and carry it very gracefully to where it needed to go. And it made it so much easier. And yeah, I just think that alone is worth it, especially too, like when we were talking about extra weight on the bike. The less weight you can have, the better off you're going to be, and the easier it's going to be to ride. So if you can minimize that weight with your luggage, it helps immensely, especially if you're doing what I do, which is usually packing a lot of shit.
I completely agree.
Yes, I knew you would. Ben, do you have any other things that you like about soft luggage?
Well, I mean, I think the biggest and most important thing for what we do is safety, and I think that's under appreciated. I mean, obviously, like if you could choose to go down with a hard metal bin on top of your leg or a pillow, which one would you pick?
A pillow.
Right, and it's going to get, and you can get pinned under it. Your leg can get between it and the ground, and something that conforms around you is good. And the other thing we don't talk about sometimes is, and every time I watch a BDR movie, this seems to happen. Somebody always tags their hard case on something, a stump. They get javelined. There's a rock, right, and it'll shift them off course, and they'll either have a really cool recovery or crash.
Yeah.
And then that hard case is usually messed up, and they got to bang it back into shape and everything. With soft luggage, I have hit stumps on the side of the road. I hit one in the jungle on a freaking cliff edge. Tagged it because I was hugging the inside edge so much because it was so sketchy up there, and it just slides across, and you keep going. There's no hard edges to catch it, right?
Yeah.
Not to say that you can't get javelin with a soft piece of soft luggage on the side. I've seen that too, but there's a lot more give and flexibility. Yeah, it's not the hard stop where you're like, I'm no longer moving. It's you've got some bounce and give, and I think so. It can keep you on the bike as well as keeping you safer when you end up under it.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I think anytime I've been in a situation where I've gone down with the bike, it has been a benefit with the soft luggage, especially too, like, I just think it's easier to handle. If you get flat out and you got to pick up the bike, I think it's so much easier to maneuver getting the soft luggage off the bike than it is getting hard luggage off the bike. Just because a lot of the times with the straps, it's real easy to just loosen and pull it off. Whereas if you are dealing with a relatively heavy bike and you have hard luggage, you have to completely remaneuver the bike just to even get to the release of the luggage. And that can be a giant pain in the ass. So that is another thing to keep in mind. Yeah,
what else
I
we
agree.
haven't talked about? Advantages. Price. Hard luggage is expensive as hell.
Yeah.
Like, it's real. I'm just looking it up right now. Oh, damn it. I got the European site. I was trying to be cool. Like a set of Touratech luggage for what's 1,000 pounds, which is like, no, 1,000 euros. Sorry, that's euros. Hold on. I'll find it.
1,000 euros.
You've got to buy racks, first of all, which you sometimes need for soft luggage, but not always. So the racks themselves, just for that bike, for example, are $400. And then it's at least another $1,000 for the cases. It's a lot.
Yeah. It's a lot. And that's, I think one of the best parts about soft luggage is you don't have to have pannier racks on there to carry luggage with you. And that's something a lot of people don't really realize all the time. And so if you are doing little camp weekends or just, a weekend trip, just getting that soft luggage and throwing on the back is going to long-term be probably more efficient and cheaper for you than worrying about getting boxes and doing all of that stuff. It just, don't get more than what you need because it'll just, again, it's extra weight. It's just extra stuff you have on the bike then that make it less fun to ride and more to maneuver.
Yep. Not that you can't spend $1,000 on soft luggage, but you don't have to. I think it's the point.
Yes, you definitely can. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, for sure. But you could spend a lot less than that too, and get pretty well equipped and have a similar amount of space.
Right. For sure. Yeah. Yeah. I think. Let me see. I think we covered a lot of it. I think one of the big things too that gets taken for granted is obviously people look at hard luggage and think it's obviously very sturdy and capable, but most soft luggage these days is made from really, really durable material that is basically indestructible. So I reference this a lot with my Crash, but like the pannier bag that I had from Giant Lube, the Around the World pannier bag, did rip off my bike, but the bag didn't rip. Like, so just to give you an idea of what those bags can kind of handle, just the material actually didn't rip. It was just basically the mechanical release went off because I crashed. But that bag just withstood a crash at 65 miles an hour on some pretty gnarly gravel. So most of the time, while I would say, yeah, like in certain situations, those hard cases are going to be obviously sturdier. I think durability wise, long term, soft luggage wins out just because I do think that material is easier to repair and it also can just kind of deal with more crashes and scrapes and drops and whatever else.
Even the Rocky Mountain, the Tusk soft luggage is like 1,600 denier. It's like, it's better than any piece of riding gear I own, which is designed to protect me, which is sort of the most important thing on the motorcycle. So I would agree. You can scuff and scrape, and I remember on the Washington BDR, I was standing on top of Chumstick Mountain, pointing the tiny scratches I got from crashing into that, and I hit a tree and a rock the same day, right? And it's just like it scuffed and kept going, but you couldn't tell unless you get down here and look. Like they're real sturdy. They they can slide for a long time. That's what they're designed to do, and keep stuff inside safe. And they don't generally. It falls off and tumbles or whatever, right? So it's got a lot of leeway to survive stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I think overall, unless I missed a couple things, I mean, you and I obviously are very pro soft luggage. I just think for off-road riding, it's just better because, you know, if you're going to be doing touring and you want your hard luggage and whatever else, yeah, I totally get that. Sometimes it's way more efficient. But if you are going to be doing off-road, ADV, camping, that type of vibe, which is what we do, soft luggage is going to be a better long-term investment overall.
Yeah, if I was touring and staying in hotels, a couple hard cases that I could just grab and take in every night would be super nice, and stuff not getting shook and bounced around, you know, like as much if you're just riding on the highway. But I would not do a BDR that way. I just wouldn't.
No.
And you know, people do, not me.
They do, and I think they're insane because, oh my God, I can't even imagine. Also, yeah, I mean, Alex's T7 literally weighed so much with all that hard luggage on there from SW Motec that like he couldn't get his kickstand to hold, like his bike was almost vertical all the time because there's so much weight weighing it down. Now, granted, I had a lot of weight on my bike too, but I at least had enough tilt it could sit on the kickstand. His was always like a minor anxiety attack anytime we went in anywhere because it's just so heavy. So keep that in mind. You know, it's just one other thing, but I'm very pro soft luggage. And it's also really easy to transfer from bike to bike. So, you know, if you want to get out on your dual sport and then you're going to go touring or whatever else, and you just want to swap your tank bag over, it's super easy to do that versus having to deal with, you know, hard luggage on the back, a rear case like that. You have to have that installed on all your bikes then so you can move the cases around.
Yeah, and those horseshoe bags, same thing. Like it's like it takes a little setup, but it's 3 straps. You just pop it off, throw it on the new bike, strap it down, adjust it. You always got to tweak and look, and then go. And so you don't need a Coyote bag for every bike you own. You only need a Coyote bag. Yeah. And you know you can always supplement it. It's kind of more modular. That's another advantage of soft luggage. Is like it's not like you can't add dry bags, I guess, to hard luggage, but you know, sometimes I run a Coyote and a Rogue, sometimes a Coyote and a Tillamook, sometimes a Tillamook and a Great Basin, sometimes you know, it's 2 side cases, and it just depends on what I need, and it gives me the freedom and the modularity to keep the heavy stuff lower on the bike and put the lighter, softer stuff that I'm more likely to have on top of the bike, and so I like that too.
Yeah, like even today, I'm getting the Transalp ready to go do some camping and stuff next week, and I'm waiting on some other luggage to come in. But I threw on my Fandango tank bag, my pannier pockets from Giant Loop. Took me like maybe 5 minutes to switch that over from my other bike, and you know, threw the Tillamook bag on the back, easy peasy, like, and everything's ready to go now. So it takes no time at all. And that's kind of what I love about it. And it's just easy to manage and maintain. Yeah.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Anyway, did I miss anything? Did we cover all of our bases?
I'm sure you missed something. I'm sure someone will have a comment, but that's the point of the comment section, to have those conversations.
I know. I'm sorry for whoever I've offended with this podcast episode about not being on board with hard luggage, but not everyone's going to like it, as we learned from last week's episode. So, yeah, about that. Yes. Anyway, I do realize, just as a PSA announcement here, that sometimes Ben and I will have discussions where not everybody's going to agree with us, and just know that's totally fine. We're not going to agree on everything. We're just here to talk about motorcycles and liking being outside. So
yeah, we're not impartial journalists. We're people who do the thing and who have opinions.
Yes. I mean, I think our opinions are pretty much always right, but you know, whatever.
You know, and obviously I'm biased because I worked for a luggage company for 2 years, but soft luggage company. But I also know a lot about soft luggage as a result of that, you know, so take a grain of salt.
Yeah. I do also think, and obviously you can get pods for hard luggage, but I do think one of the things that they don't always specify with hard luggage is that not all hard luggage is waterproof just on its own. And it does still. And so like, if you do have one of those incidents where you have a drop and something kind of shifts around, it might leak. It might have another issue. And so like, again, like I'm diehard with the soft luggage, having those waterproof pods. Like I put all of my stuff in waterproof pods, even if it's not going to rain, just because one, it's an easy way to organize, but two, it's just, you have nothing to worry about ever then. So if weather gets weird, you just batten down the hatches and keep riding, and that's it.
Riding. Just keep riding, man.
Just keep riding.
Just keep riding.
Yeah. Ben, are you excited? Spring is kind of here in Oregon right now. We had a great Sunday ride.
Yeah, and I went riding again yesterday all day. It was awesome. I'm so over the winter. I'm over it.
Oh my God, I know. Yeah, and you have a very fun trip coming up in May that is going to be so fun to watch from afar. I'm just hoping you also come back alive.
Well, me too, but I conned Jake Spite's corner into coming on that trip, so
awesome.
You know, we gotta watch each other suffer. It'll be good times.
But
we hang out at the back of the pack.
Yeah. Never suffer alone. If you're gonna go torture yourself for a week like this, which Ben, do you want to talk about where you're going?
I'm going to Canada, dude, for Big Rock Candy Mountain, which is, you guys remember Grisbait? Well, it's the same. It's Dallas and the ERAG crew, but he puts this one on in Kamloops, which is where he lives, so he knows where all the good stuff is. So it's a lot of, I guess. He just messaged me about it like 20 minutes ago and was like, it will redefine your understanding of what verticality is and elevation change. And it's all single track. But I was just rewatching a video on it, and it's honestly a lot like here, where there's like high desert cattle country, and a lot of alpine, super high. We don't have this high of mountains, obviously, because I rarely get to ride above the tree line here, but a lot of that stuff too. So it's going to seem, I'm mostly worried about mud, because it's May, and it's always muddy here in May, and they're farther north, so it'll be interesting.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I can't wait to watch your videos afterwards. I'm going to probably be cringing and laughing along with you the whole time.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those situations where it's like, I'm not excited. I'm excited for it to be over. I'm just anxious. But once I'm done, I'll be like, that was amazing!
Oh, yeah.
Type 2 fun.
Yeah, type 2 fun. Woohoo!
Yeah.
Anyway, also just a quick, I don't know if you've been getting some messages about this, Ben. I kind of wanted to just recap on here. I've been getting a lot of messages about what events I'm going to be at this summer. So I was just going to do a quick recap of my events, and then you can also do yours, Ben, just to keep everybody in the loop. But I'll be at the Giant Loop Ride in Central Oregon. I will be at the Unrally event in the Alver Desert, and then I will also be at Tour Tech. This will then be followed with, I don't think I have any events then until I will be at Ben's Campout. And then Ben and I have an awesome event in Moab that I believe might already be sold out in October. But otherwise, that's pretty much my schedule right now. What do you got?
I'm doing all that, except for I'm going to the Black Hills for the Get on ADV Fest there, which recommends you sign up, come hang out. Grace isn't coming. It's too cool.
I have done the ADV Fest in the Black Hills the last 2 years. It's actually really, really fun. Beautiful area of the country to go ride. And obviously, I know a lot of people would look at that and be like, what is in South Dakota? Let me tell you, it's very pretty. And South Dakota. Yeah, it's pretty spectacular. So highly recommend going if you haven't. Those events are always a total blast. There's a lot of great vendors. And yeah, you kind of get a taste of Sturgis before Sturgis as well, which I know you're very excited about.
You get to go to Sturgis without having to go to Sturgis.
Precisely. Yes.
Yeah. I look at the videos of that, and I'm not even like biker culture, whatever. So many people, it just gives me anxiety to even look at the videos. Like, you can't even walk down the street. Forget about it.
I know.
No, thank you.
You can't walk or ride down the street. It's a nightmare. Yeah.
No, that's too many people.
Yeah, agreed. It's too many people for me, and I'm an extrovert. So
she likes people.
Yeah, I do. Sadly, unfortunately. Yeah. But anyway, well, thank you, everybody. We really appreciate you being here. Please let us know if you are a hard or soft luggage person in the comments. Also, let's keep the hate on us for picking soft luggage to a minimum, because this is based on our humble opinions and our experience.
I'm worried about that. I don't think it's not going to be like when we talked about pew-pews last week. I think we're a little gun shy, pun intended.
We've been kind of going back and forth in that gray area of when to have hard opinions on things. And so last week we definitely took a stance, and it's been fun to watch it unfold in the aftermath. But anyway, thank you guys so much for being here. We love you, listeners and viewers. You can find me, Grace, aka the Graceful Renegade, on Instagram and YouTube. Ben, where can everybody find you?
On Instagram and YouTube, I'm Dork in the Road and Dork in the Road. Swap those around though.
Yep. And that is where we are. And we are also doing a series of videos for MotoCamp Nerd. So you can also find us on the MotoCamp Nerd YouTube page. And we are trying to just, get out and camp and enjoy as much as possible. So thank you for being here with us this week. We will see you all very soon.
Yeah, we appreciate you. And, if you remember one thing, it's this. Don't forget to be excellent to each other.
And live wild, ride free. Bye.